Hi, I'm DG Wright, and this is the official channel of the BLS Coin Collectors Club, bringing you news and insight from the fascinating world of numismatics. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I am back. I know it's been a while, and yeah, it's been a while. But I have a few new coins to show off. As regular viewers will know, I've been building up a date run of florins for the 20th century, and I've gotten a couple more, so without further ado, we're going to get started. This one is a 1912. It's in pretty decent condition for a 1912 florin. It's obviously been fairly heavily circulated, but it's not like filthy or anything, and there's no real damage to it. It's just worn. So it's a pretty nice coin there, 1912 florin, and that's a new addition to my collection. For the George V run, all I need now is the 1916, because as the one I'm about to show you, I have a 1911. This really is the pride of my florin date run, because look at that. Look at how amazing that is. That is probably nearly uncirculated. I would say good, extremely fine condition wise. It's got a few nicks and dings, but for all we know, those could have happened at the mint, because it looks like it's had pretty much no actual circulation at all. There's a slight ding there in the edge, but it still has... and I dropped it. It still has the vast majority of its mint luster, and pretty much no wear on the actual design at all. That was a real bargain too. I got it from eBay for probably less than half of what it's actually worth, according to the 2024 Spink catalogue, which I happen to have here. The 1911 florin is worth £60 in extremely fine, and let me double check this. 1911. Yep, here we go. £60 in extremely fine, £195 in brilliant uncirculated condition. It's not quite that, but it's definitely better than extremely fine. Obviously, it's not a proof, but yeah, that was a real bargain. Really happy with that. Something else I got recently, this 1879 penny. Long ago I used to have a pretty much complete date run of bronze pennies, but that was a long time ago, and yeah, that was probably in the 90s, so I'm trying to build those back up. I do have a complete date run of 20th century pennies, but not the 19th century, so here's another one. 1874. Now, what's interesting about 1874 is there's a couple of obverse varieties. They slightly changed the portrait of Victoria on the young head bronze coinage. They aged the portrait up just a little bit. This one is too worn down to really tell whether this is a youthful portrait or an aged portrait. But yeah, there's a couple of varieties for the 1874 penny. That's a recent acquisition there. Let's take a look at this one. This is 1943 half crown. I actually have very few silver half crowns, so this was a nice new addition. As you can see, it's not in terrible condition. It's got some wear on it, but it's not bad. So yeah, 1943 half crown, 50% silver, struck during World War II. another half crown here. 1923, 20 years earlier, also 50% silver. It's got a nice even toning on the reverse. It's got some tarnishing on the obverse. It's unfortunate that someone has drilled a hole in it sometime in the distant past, probably when the coin was relatively new, considering the amount of wear around the edges of the hole. But aside from that, relatively nice piece there. 1923 half crown. Since my only George V half crown before now was in 1921, well, there's something else that's quite nice. Sixpence. 1932. I bought a whole bunch of silver coins pretty much at random fairly recently, threepences and sixpences mostly, and this was one of them. Ignore the discoloration, that's just uneven toning. The coin is actually in excellent condition wear-wise. It's, I would go as far as to say it's good, very fine, or even extremely fine. So yeah, 50% silver, 1932, sixpence. Another quite lovely piece I acquired recently. Shilling, 1875. If I can zoom in there, it's got a die number above the date, and that is die number 12. The Victorians experimented a lot with dies during the 1860s and 1870s, so a lot of the coins of that era have die numbers on them. You want to look out for the die numbers on the 1863 penny, especially die number 4. That's particularly scarce. Here's an 1875 shilling. As you can see, it's got a lot of wear on it. It was probably circulated all the way up until the 1940s, so it got a lot of wear, but you can make out most of the design, and it's still a pretty nice coin, and that is sterling silver, obviously, because it was made before 1920. So 1875 shilling. Alright, we got a little silver threepenny bit here, 1934. Relatively decent condition, probably very fine. Most of the 50% silver is pretty toned. You'll see a lot of toning and tarnishing on the 50% silver. To a certain extent, even more so than the sterling silver, probably because of the copper content in the coins. But otherwise, as you can see, it's got relatively little wear on it. So that was I think that was a pretty decent purchase there. We got here 1936 threepenny bit. 1936, again in pretty good condition. The later silver threepenny bits tend to turn up in pretty decent condition simply because they didn't circulate for very long. They were withdrawn from circulation after about 1945 and replaced by the brass threepences, which started being struck in 1937. What we got here? One of the later ones. 1941. 1941, there we got a George VI on the obverse. One of the last of the silver threepenny bits to be struck. Most of the silver threepenny bits of the 1940s were struck for circulation only in the British colonies, although they tended to find their way back to the mainland anyway. Only a single silver threepence is known of 1945. So if you find one of those, you're a very lucky person indeed. 1941 to 44 is still relatively common. You can get hold of those for a couple of quid. Here is a 1940. It's got some discoloration there. Might clean up. might clean up nicely. You can clean silver coins to a certain extent. It's not usually recommended to clean copper and bronze, but silver coins you can clean if you're careful about it. So this one is a 1940. It's not the best condition, but as I say, it might clean up, and it would look pretty nice if it did. And finally, for the silver 3-ounces, we've got a 1918, and this is the only sterling silver threepenny bit in the bunch. Relatively decent condition for a coin of this vintage, more than 100 years old, 107 years old now. That's 1918, one of the last sterling silver coins to be struck, as they were last struck in 1920. You can find some sterling silver coins from 1920, but it is almost impossible to tell which is sterling silver and which is 50%, and the majority of them are the 50% variety. Another one of my fairly random silver purchases here. I've already got one of these, but you know, 2 coins are better than 1. This is a 1929 florin. Pretty badly worn. It probably circulated all the way up until the 1960s. So yeah, 1929 florin. Ignore the cat in the background. He wants to be fed, but I'm not feeding him just yet. 1929 florin. That's another 6-pence here. Also 1929. Also fairly heavily worn. Now the 6-pence, interestingly enough, circulated alongside a couple of the other pre-decimalization coins into the decimal era. The shilling and the florin circulated up until the 1990s, when they were demonetized, when the 5-pence and 10-pence were reduced in size. Now the 6-pence circulated up until 1980 as a 2.5-pence coin. Half a shilling was 2.5 pence in the decimal system. So the 6-pence circulated up until 1980, and it's possible that a few silver ones did escape into circulation after they were supposed to have gone to copper and nickel. Another silver 6-pence here, George VI, World War II coin, 1943. Again, 50% silver. As you can tell, I've been on a bit of a silver kick lately, buying up pretty much what I could when I could. Some of these are new dates, some of them are duplicates. So some of them are good, some of them will go in the collection, and some of them will go as spares. 1947 florin, I don't need to show that, that's just a copper and nickel florin, I've shown examples of that before. Another silver 6-pence, I believe this is a new date, 1931. Very heavily worn, probably one that circulated all the way up until the 1960s at least, and possibly up until 1980 again. The silver coins were not supposed to circulate during the decimal era, but I have seen 1 or 2 silver florins in the wild during that time, before they were demonetized, so yeah, they did escape from time to time. Got a silver florin here. 1941, 50% silver, pretty heavily worn, might have escaped into circulation later on. It's the only way to tell the difference between the silver and copper and nickel florins of George VI is by the date, so they might have carried on circulating up until the 80s or 90s. The florin was finally demonetized in 1993 after it was replaced by a new smaller 10-pence coin. Now, I do not normally specifically collect non-British coins. I do have a substantial collection of non-British coins that have come into my possession over the years, but I don't normally seek them out. But these were of interest simply because they're curiosities. These are steel cents, or pennies. Steel 1-cent coins from the USA from 1943. Copper was needed for the war efforts and was running at a premium at the time. So in 1943, the US Mint struck the 1-cent coins out of steel. They're relatively common. They're not worth a huge amount except as curiosities, but that's it. I wanted to get my hands on some of these just for the interest value. I've got a couple from the Denver Mint with the D Mint mark there. They're still in relatively good condition. Steel is hard wearing, obviously, but couple from the Denver Mints, and we got this one's a more worn example, but we got a couple here from the Philadelphia Mint as well. Generally, you can tell the Philadelphia Mint because the coins made there do not have a mint mark. So I've got 5 of these altogether. 3 from Philadelphia, 2 from Denver. So that's the 1943 steel 1-cent coin, or penny as they're known in the US. I think that is about it. 1944 florin. One of my duplicates that I've got recently while buying up just random silver. It's just been a kick of mine lately as the silver thing, so I'll just pick coins at random, 6pences, 3pences, florins, and buy them up, and if they're new dates, great. If they're duplicates, great. So that is a 1944 florin, pretty decent condition there, and that is the last one for this video. Unless you want me to show you a random 1919 penny, which I'm sure I've shown you before. And I'm dropping it anyway. As you can tell, this video is very unscripted and very impromptu. I just felt like making it. So that's a 1919 penny, no mint mark, common coin, but common doesn't mean it's worthless. Alright, so that's me up to date, and I hope everyone is having a great time, and I hope you enjoy the video. And please like and subscribe, and leave me a comment. I'll see you next time.